Welcome back to my Chrome extensions crash course lesson number 3, and in today's video we're going to be going over how you can add a dark theme to a website by injecting our CSS file from our Chrome extension. And I chose Wikipedia, so this is what it's going to look like for you by the end of this video. And there's going to be small parts like this one which we haven't went over because I'm going to grant you the knowledge of how you can do this, and if you have time then you can obviously finish this. And they don't want to make this video too long so we can see that this part isn't done. But if we actually search something, this is what it's going to look like. Obviously, there's more things that you need to work on, but like I said before, I didn't want to make this video too long. And so before we get started, make sure they like this video, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. But now, let's get started. First thing that we need to do is open our Manifest.json file and change the matches URL to the URL of the website that we're going to want to change the background color to, which is going to be Wikipedia. So let's open our Chrome browser and open Wikipedia. Let's click on the first link. And what we're going to do is go to the URL here, and we can just copy all of it, paste it in here. And if we save it like this and not change it, then what's going to happen is our Chrome extension is only going to work on this page, so on this Wikipedia page, and not on any other Wikipedia pages. So let's actually go ahead and let's say go to contents, and if we take a look here, we can see that this part hasn't changed, which means that this should be the base, which means that this is going to be the base of Wikipedia. So let's just go ahead and copy this part and paste it in here. So wikipedia.org, and then after this part, we're going to add a star, which is going to mean that this is going to be the base of the URL, and then it's going to work on any Wikipedia page. And now that we've done that, let's go ahead and open our styles.css and start by changing the background color to the background color of the body to black, and we're going to write important just to make sure that this works. So let's go ahead and reload our extension by opening a new tab and then clicking on manage extensions in here. Let's reload our extension, go back, reload, and now we can see that we've set the background color of the outside of this container to black. And let's go ahead and comment this out so that we can take a look at the colors a bit more. So let's reload our extension, reload Wikipedia, and we're going to notice that in the container, so this part right here is going to be lighter than the outside, which is going to be just a bit darker, which means that we're going to need to have two different background colors. And what that means is that we're just going to have to set the main, so the background color of the body, and then some containers. So let's inspect the element here. We're going to see that we're going to need to change the background color of these two elements. So let's select them, go down here, select this element, and then the other one. So copy this, and then we're going to paste this in here too. And in here, we can set the background color to something like this, so 3C3. And this is going to be dark, just a bit lighter than black. And let's actually set this to something a bit lighter. And I think this should be good. So we're going to add important here too, so that it would override the default colors. Now, when we reload, this is what it's going to look like. And there's a lot more things that we need to change, which we will. And I think the background color is just a bit too dark. So let's go ahead and change this to something a bit lighter. And you don't really need to copy me. You can set the colors to whatever you want. But I'm going to be adding a dark theme to Wikipedia, which means that I'm going to be using black and white. So white for text and then dark for the background colors and so on. But I think that this should look good, and instead of doing this over and over again, so writing background color and then just copying the values here, what we can do is make variables. And to make variables, we're going to go to our body, and we're going to write this and then the name of our variable. So let's write body bg color, and then in here we're going to set this to the background color. So let's just write this in here. And to make sure that it works, we can write var here and then the value. Let's go back, reload everything, and we can see that nothing changed, which means that if we went here and copied this part and put it in here and reload again, we can see that this variable works now. So anywhere that we're going to use this variable, it should work. Let's do the same thing for the inside here. So copy and paste it under, and I want to change this to main bg color, and we're going to set this to this, and we can just write 6 threes because I want it to look a bit nicer, and we can change this to this and change this to main, go back, reload everything, and we can see that it works. And I'll change the background color of this page right here. So let's go ahead and inspect it to see what elements we need to change the background color of. And we can see that this content page container is going to have a property of background color. And if we change it, we can see that it doesn't affect the background color of this panel right here. So that means that we're going to need to select the elements inside of it. So let's try selecting the content page title and changing the background color here. So we can see that this is where we need to change the background color. So let's go ahead and select this element, paste it in here. Now let's go ahead and look at the other element, so content page section. I'm going to copy it, let's paste it in here. And now if we go ahead and reload our extension and reload the page, we can see that we've set the background color of this panel too. I'm going to change the background color of this panel right here. I think this is the right one. Let's make sure. And now we can copy the ID. So let's select it by using its ID, reload the page, and now it's going to be dark. We're going to see this shadow, but we can obviously change it later. So let's select the search bar, and we're going to get this input. So let's see if it's the one or the element that we have to change the background color of. Let's go and change it here, and that's the one. So let's copy the class, paste it in here, go back, reload everything, and now it's going to be dark. And now let's change the color of the button. So we're going to select this part right here, paste it in here too, go back, reload, and now it's going to be dark too. We're going to change the text colors later and also link colors, but we need to change the background first, so the background colors first. And I'm guessing that this is going to be the element, so let's select this element, paste it in here. But yeah, so this is really repetitive, and we're going to basically do the same thing for all of the other elements. And now that we're done with the background colors, let's go ahead and change the text color so that it doesn't look as bad as it does right now. So let's go ahead and actually make a variable. And in here, we're going to write text color, and then we're going to set this to white. And let's actually write main text color, because if we take a look here, we can see that we have this dark and we have this gray. So this is going to be black, and then we have gray colors, and then we're going to have to make link colors. So let's reload everything, and nothing should actually change because we haven't set the colors. And for the H1, we can just select it, and let's see if we change the color here to white. Then we can see that the text changes, so that means that this is what we need to select. So let's select the H1, and then in here we're gonna write color, and then we're gonna select the main text variables, and then we're gonna write important. Let's go back, reload everything, and now it should change the background color of all of the H1s. And so let's actually change the background colors of all of these sections to white too, because they're gonna be black right now, and it's gonna be H4s, H3s too. So let's just select all of the headings. So heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, 4, 5, and then also 6. And we're going to have this gray color and then lighter gray too. And I don't want to make it too complicated, so let's also select this part. And this is going to be a div with a class of content title. So let's add this element and reload this whole page. And now we're going to see that we've changed the colors of all of these sections and titles, which means that this isn't going to be the main text color anymore. This is going to be the title text color. And we're going to need to change this in here too. So title. And I'll change the colors of our text here. So let's select it. It's going to be a paragraph. And I'm pretty sure this right here also had a paragraph. So we have to be careful. Let's make another variable. So this is going to be main text color, and it's going to be a bit darker. And now we're going to select the paragraph. So paragraph, and then we're going to change the color here. Let's just copy this actually, paste it in here, and change this from title text color to main text color. And I'm pretty sure this is going to change now because this is going to be at the very bottom, which is going to override this part, which means that we're going to have to put this above the titles. If we reload, it's still going to override because we're changing the background color of the contents page title when it should be the paragraph of this element. So we're going to go here and write paragraph. So it's going to select that paragraph. And now we can see that it changed. And now let's go ahead and change the color of this text right here. So let's inspect it, and it's going to be a div. So let's go back here and add a div to our paragraph and go back and reload everything. So I'm going to reload this. Now reload the page, and now we can see that we've changed the text color here too. Let's go ahead and change the color of the nav bar, and it's going to be a span. So let's go here and add a span. And instead of reloading it again, let's see what else we need to change. So we need to change the color of this button. So it's just going to be a button. Let's add button in here too. Now let's reload and see what that would look like. So that looks pretty good. And now there's a lot more things that we need to do, so I'm going to do this pretty quick. If we take a look at the links right here, we're going to see that they have this sort of blue. And I'm going to open this page, and this is going to be the opposite color of the blue that we have right here. And this is what it would look like if we put it here. So it's going to be this yellow orange, and this is what you would usually do. So if you make a dark theme for a website, you would usually take a look at the opposite color that you would have. So in this case, it was blue, and then the opposite was going to be this yellow orange. And same goes for the backgrounds, but I didn't do it because I didn't want to waste too much time on that. So I'm just going to set the color of the links to that. So I'm going to add another one, and it's going to be link text color. We're going to set this to that, and we have to select it using the anchor tag. So let's do that. And here, we're just going to copy this, paste this in here, and change this to link. And now if we go back here and reload, then we're going to have our links looking like that. And you can also change the colors here to whatever you want, but I'm going to change the colors of these disks because they shouldn't be black, but white. And if we take a look at the styles here, we can see that in the UL, they've set the list style image to this URL, and it's going to be black. So if I zoom in, we're going to see that it's black. And that means that we're not going to be able to really change the color. So if we actually, let's go back, and if we actually just remove this, then we're going to see that they go back to white, which means that we're just going to have to deselect that in here. So I'm just going to actually go right here, select the UL, and set the list style image to none. And then I'm going to write important, which is going to override that. And now we're going to see that the disks are going to change colors to white. And I'm going to go over one more thing. And you can obviously finish this project by yourself if you want to, and then maybe publish it in the Chrome extensions, and people might use it. But now we're going to go over the borders. So let's actually inspect them. Maybe we have to go to this page right here. And here we're going to see the borders, which means that we're going to have to select this element with the content page class. So let's go ahead and do that. Paste this in here. And now we're going to take a look at the colors. So let's go ahead and change it to something, I would say around here. Copy this. Now we're going to make another variable, and this is going to be border color. Change this to that. Copy all of this, and then paste that in here. And then we're going to change this to var, and then the border color, and add the import here. Let's also change the borders in here. So just copy the class, add it in here, and then let's copy this elements class too, and also paste it in here. Now let's reload everything. And maybe we can make this a bit lighter, so maybe somewhere around here. Reload everything again, and I think that's gonna look pretty good. Now there's just a little bit more things to do, but I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just gonna show you how we can remove the shadow because it's been annoying me for a while now. So we're gonna go to this after because that's what the shadow is, and we're gonna see that it's gonna be the background color. So we're gonna remove that, or not the color, but just the background, and then we're gonna write background, set this actually just to background. We're gonna write none, and then important to override everything, reload, and now it's going to disappear. And then you can obviously change the borders, but for these two borders, you're going to have to be careful because for this one, the border is going to be border bottom, and then I'm going to choose color because I don't want to write all the other properties, but now we're going to see that for this element, it's just going to be the border bottom. For this one, it's going to be the border top and bottom, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so let's actually see what it would look like on another page. So I'm gonna write, let's say HTML. And so we can see that it looks really good, but there's just a little bit more things to work on, like changing the background color here, some text here, and you can make this a full-on project, maybe actually publish it as an extension, maybe make another website, and so on. But this is where I'm going to end it, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss upcoming Chrome extensions lessons, follow me on Instagram, and hopefully see you in the next video.